Hello, I'm David Mintz, and thanks for joining me today for a bit of training on referrals. Now, it goes without saying that if you're a member of the Relocation Agent Network or thinking about becoming a member of the Relocation Agent Network, you're going to have to be great at making referrals because that is the lifeblood of the network in itself. Yes, you get to share really great practice with other agents. You get to sort of be in an environment of non-competing agents as well, where you can share your concerns about what's happening in the industry openly and learn from one another. And that's a great support network to have. But really, at its core, we're talking about referrals on a daily basis. So this course is going to have a look at how you build that referral culture within your business, who is going to be asking those questions, how we can perhaps utilize this locally as well. So there's lots of value add over here. It's to accompany a book that we're putting out on this as well. Really, it's a bit of a work booklet that can accompany this course. So we hope you enjoy it. If you've got any questions, please do get in touch. So the title of the course is Turning Conversations into Referrals, and I strongly believe that everything that we do within the property industry, as it's a people business, is underpinned by the conversations that we have with people. And if you have a better quality of conversation when you're registering an applicant, when you're speaking to a vendor, is dealing with anybody, it's going to lead to much better outcomes. Now, sometimes we are under pressure. We've got an awful lot to do as estate agents in our job roles, and time's of the essence. Busy office, there are phones ringing. People could be waiting. There are always emails to be answered, WhatsApp messages to return. There's such a ton of stuff that we need to do. And so that does put us under pressure, and sometimes we cut those conversations short. We don't fully ask all the questions that we need to, and hopefully, this course will help us to do that a little bit better. We'll make stronger connections, more referrals, and ultimately more income for everybody in the network. It's not intended, the book that we put out was not intended to be a training manual that you have to follow word for word, but it's really a really good suggestion on how you can build a referral culture within your business. And I think the core idea of all of this is that a lot of agents want more leads, and we all want more inquiries coming through. And ultimately, that's great for our bottom lines, but we have an awful lot of leads in the database that we already have, in the people that we already know. And I think if we can have better conversations with them, we can actually maximize the opportunities that are already sat underneath our noses as it is. So let's get straight into it. The downside, the hidden cost of missing referrals. You're excellent at what you do. You all are. And by the virtue of you actually being in this network, it means you've been selected and you are a high caliber agent who really performs well. But even the best of agents leave quite a bit of business on the table by not necessarily optimizing their referral process. So just in terms of averages, if we talk about average commissions being in the region of, say, £4,000, depending on where you are and the values of your properties, it could be higher, it could be lower. But if you're looking at sort of the referral fee element of this, even if it's just 20% of it, that's £800 every time. And if you're doing five of these a month, well, that's £4,000 of income that is potentially being lost. And obviously, by extension, that's £48,000 a year. So it's a big chunk of income that you could be adding to your bottom line, and it helps you to get the best out of your membership in the Relocation Agent Network. So we need a bit of a mindset shift really to around referrals and the conversations that we had in order to unlock these potential referrals. So your mindset may have been, well, just transactional. We'll just deal with the property that we've got to shift right now, do it quickly and move on to the next. And I want to try and sort of open your eyes to doing things slightly differently, building a bit of a relationship with the long-term client outcomes as well, because over the course of a lifetime, we used to think of clients being sort of a one-off almost. People don't sell houses all that often. I think the national statistics is something like once every 17 years. But now we actually know that that perhaps isn't the way to think about it. People are open to short-term moves. A lot of people move more easily and more readily. Certainly the younger generation, when it comes to work and the outcomes, we all saw after COVID that everybody sort of just decided that wherever they lived at the time wasn't where they wanted to remain. And we saw a lot of people moving about. And whether those are short-term moves or long-term moves, there's an awful lot of relocation that now goes on within this modern world. We live in a world where we can have our cake and eat it. If we want to move somewhere, we want to live somewhere, we want to work from home, whatever it is, the options are there and it's open. So I think this whole notion of people sort of staying in their forever home and staying in one place for 30, 40 years and never moving again is antiquated. And we need to open our eyes to the next generation of property buyers who will be doing moves based on a whim, perhaps, but also based on what's going on in their lives and what suits them, their lifestyle choices, their income, where their jobs are, where the schools are, things that are important to them that perhaps might not have necessitated a house move 20 years ago, but today certainly people will think about it. So I think we need to sort of see that. And in order to do that, we need to move beyond just the property that stood in front of us. So if we've been asked to have a look at a house and a proposition. We need to actually examine the people that are selling that, ask them one more question very often, and try and sort of join all the dots. The story never normally just ends with the house that you're dealing with and that you're selling. There's more to it than that. So there are trigger questions that you can ask in order to draw out this information. And you should certainly be having these conversations when you're booking a valuation with somebody, when you receive an inquiry. If you've got the time and the sales staff to do it, I definitely would recommend that you build your teams around this and try to get them to ask these questions. So these are just example questions. So number one, what's driving the move? So yes, we know you want to move, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, but what is the main reason behind it? So if you can understand people's motivation, and sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's space, sometimes it's relationship based. They might not be getting on, they may be going in two separate directions, but you need to ask the question to open up that conversation. That will be very revealing, ultimately may give you clues as to what lies ahead for them, and perhaps what you're not seeing beyond the property that they've asked you to deal with. And it's always a great question. The second question is, do you have family and friends in the area that you're looking at moving to? That will also then sort of trigger other conversations as to, who they're connecting with, what their family network looks like. It's great for referrals in general if you can always say, have you got family or friends that are looking at moving? Could we help them as well? It's a great to open the door to that as well. Have you found an agent in the area that you're looking at? So if you're going to a different area out of town, it seems like a pretty obvious one for a member of the Relocation Agent Network to be asking, but have you found an agent to deal with that you trust in that area? And actually, one of our members, I think it was Brian Carlisle, recently suggested that there is a real opportunity for us not to just sort of say, well, have you found anything where you're going to, but also to take a bit of stewardship of it and almost a bit of hand-holding. They can actually complete the referral process more easily. So rather than you telling me, well, yes, I'm moving to Carlisle, let's say, and I will say, well, have you found an agent in that area? A more proactive approach is, well, can I connect you with an agent, one of my colleagues from the network, that we really trust, and I think you're going to have a very good experience with. Would you mind if I make that referral to them? You're getting consent along the way to make those referrals, but you're also already giving them the reassurance that who you're going to refer to is actually worth dealing with, and that there is a difference between just any random agent in the area that you're moving to and a member of the Relocation Agent Network. Is there anyone else in your circle going through similar moves? So, it could be somebody says to you, how often do people say, well, they're making a lot of redundancies at work, so I am moving for XYZ reason to another area because the jobs that I'm after are available only in Lancaster, so that's where I'm going to. It's an opportunity to sort of ask whether there are any other colleagues of theirs that you can help as well. So I think what we're trying to drive at here is that very often we don't pry into the details, and I'm not asking you to get super nosy. I'm just saying ask a little bit more. Questioning will give you a little bit more information, will open up some more opportunities for the future. And then the long-term outlook, so asking them what the ideal outcome might look like in 12 months, takes you beyond the property that you're dealing with, because most people assume that within a 12-month process they would have sold their house. In some places, that might be wishful thinking, depending on what the market's doing and how long conveyancing is taking these days. But in for the most part, when a seller comes to you with a property, they would expect to be out and finished within 12 months, but they might actually think 6 months, and therefore what happens afterwards? And what they may say is, yeah, well, after we've sold that and I've got the money from that house, I will then decide to rent a property in another location, buy something on the other side of town in London, out of the area, whatever it may be. I'm moving to the coast, I'm retiring. It's what we've always dreamed of doing. These are opportunities. These are the sort of conversations that need to come out of the conversations that you're having with people if relocation moves truly do matter to you. So, in terms of reading those conversations, they may say, things like, "Well, we're moving closer to be closer to grandkids. Their company is relocating them to a different area. That they've got more room than they need. Empty nesters, very great example of people that are moving from a particular area. They may be sort of saying that the parents need something smaller, or they're thinking of a holiday home." And so all of these sort of factors are the main core reasons that trigger relocations. So family relocations are complicated because they need a trusted agent. They can't just move to any area. I've got three kids, and if I were to move them, they're all at different stages in schools. Some of my kids have got very particular educational needs. I need to know that in the area that I'm moving to, they can be accommodated. And so I don't just need any old agent that's selling any old house on Rightmove. I need an agent that is a trusted local expert that can say to me, yes, David, the ideal school for your daughter would look something like this. And for the other two, it would look something like that. I need a bit more hand-holding. I need a bit more of an expert. So these are things that really do matter. And this is where you and we, as members of the network, can truly add value for people in their moves. Corporate relocations, those are very often time sensitive. They don't give you much notice. David, we're moving you to Lancaster. We need you to be there. You start at the beginning of June. That doesn't give me a lot of time to pack up, get my old place sold, find somewhere over there. It could mean that I just need to rent something in the short term, which the company might pay for. It doesn't matter, but the point is the logistics are complicated, and therefore they also need an agent that understands the local market, because it could be type of property I'm looking for doesn't exist right now, or they only come up, once every in a while. And you might say to me, David, for the time being, you're better off renting. We'll look out for something that will come up that suits your criteria. So there are particular needs. So we're not just looking for any old agent. We're looking for somebody who is a relocation expert, who knows their city really, really well, the type of properties that they deal with and who they are for. Downsizing, again, those are sometimes potentially just local. It could be from one side of the road to the other. But very often when people are downsizing, it's due to sort of age as well. So we've got to the point where the kids have left and we've got a little bit more money in our pocket. Not everybody has massive mortgages at that end of their life cycle. They've got a little bit more disposable income. Very often downsizing, the actual bottom line of it is to try and put money in the account. When you ask them what they want that for. Well, it's for their retirement. We want to travel more. We've always dreamed about living by the coast. We're moving to Cornwall. This is where we've spent our family holidays. That's where we're going to be. We've spent every summer in Wales. That's where we want to be. So these are sort of things that, again, take us beyond just moving to the other side of the road and really means that they need somebody that's going to look after them on the other side of the world that we're sending them to. An elderly care move. These happen every day, and then you know that they happen every day because you know this when you go out and value properties. It's very often the stage before probate, unfortunately, to talk about end of life cycles. You can tell sometimes when you go into a house that an elderly person is moving into a care home, perhaps, and the kids are dealing with it. And it's a move that is very sensitive. It needs to be handled in the right way. There isn't a massive relocation aspect to these things, but there are opportunities for agents to look out for. And we'll talk about building referral networks locally. That's really that we often overlook in terms of people that could recommend us. So we'll talk about that. But either way, let's say that the care home for my mum is not in my town, but it's in the next town, and I need to refer to an agent over there. That's going to be a very emotional move. It's a huge thing to convince my mum to move out of a house that she's lived in and felt comfortable in for 40 years and that she's going to be better off in sheltered accommodation in the next town or a care home or whatever will be. It'll be a very stressful time for her and for us as the family. So it's always worth looking at that. And then second properties and investment properties, although they happen less often nowadays due to all the changes that we're all going through and taxation, they still happen. Property is still a great investment for people. And if they're affluent and they've managed to put something aside, second property investments always have some sort of an out of town element to them very often because sometimes we buy things in other locations that we wouldn't mind using ourselves. So I know a lot of people that bought things and operated them perhaps on a kind of an Airbnb process. So for argument's sake, I have a client of mine who bought something along the coast. And yes, they rent it for 12 months of the year, and then there'll be a break between tenants sometimes where they'll then go and spend 3 months over there. And for the future, they've got it there as their kind of long term. This is where we're going to retire to when the kids move on. So there are conversations to be had, there are countless opportunities, and there is. So I think we need to sort of do a lot of listening. We need to ask very intelligent questions. We need to be able to read the signals always. When we look at building a local referral system, this exists within your own microcosm. This is in your own town or village. And most of you, a lot of you will do this very well. I hope you do anyway in practice. But this exists outside of our agent network. This is for your town and your community, but it's a really, really powerful asset. And I think that you guys, if you're not concentrating on doing it, let's look at the type of people that might be able to refer business to you, and vice versa. You have a reciprocal relationship with them. So, number one, solicitors and conveyancers, you all know this already because we all love it when we get a phone call from a solicitor who says, "Hey, David, I've got a probate instruction that needs valuing." We like that having those calls, and very often the way that we get them is by, well, we will refer them a few conveyancing jobs. They'll give us a few probate jobs, and we tend to sort of scratch each other's backs in the long run. But these are people, solicitors these days. don't need to tell you this. They don't have an awful lot of time, and if your workload is quite high, their caseload they pile them high. And their support staff are often very weak. So when you step in to take over for a solicitor and say, "Hey, I'm gonna get you the value for this property. I will give you a marketing plan for it that you can pass on to your clients, etc." It's actually doing them not just a basic functionary job, but you're doing them a massive favor as well. It's alleviating a lot of the heavy lifting that they're having to do. So don't just think of it as them owing you a massive favor. You're also helping them as well. So I think that's a really good reciprocal relationship. A lot of you already have great relationships with local solicitors, but they're likely to be directly involved in property transactions. They'll see clients moving or needing property advice before anybody else. And in terms of solicitors, there is another element. If we have a look diagonally opposite in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see divorce and family solicitors. They are two different creatures, conveyancers and family solicitors, but it's worth having relationships with both because family solicitors will always need agents. It always comes down to the money. It always comes down to the security of the home as well. And very often, a split will necessitate one or both of the parties having to sell or to move. There is some sort of move story there, and there is a role for you to play. And again, those solicitors are usually very matter of fact, um, don't have time for small talk whatsoever, but they need help, and they'll be very grateful. And over the years, I've received a lot of referrals from family solicitors. So definitely keep those avenues of communication open. Accountants are a brilliant source. Small accountants, local bookkeepers, it doesn't matter who they are. They deal with local businesses in your town, local families, local business people. They're extremely valuable because when it comes to tax advice, they sometimes just need a valuation. But they also deal with a lot of investors. They also deal with a lot of landlords. They also deal with a lot of people that they can clearly see are struggling perhaps to keep up with compliance. And they may be able to say, "Hey, listen, you know, you're struggling to manage your portfolio. Yes, it's making money, but actually, maybe the clever money is giving this to a managing agent to look at. So let's go and talk to David about this." And there are referrals to be made there. They will also be very grateful for any business you can throw their way. But networking with accountants always a very valuable source of business referrals. Financial advisors and mortgage brokers, it goes without saying, many of you will already have ties with financial advisors and mortgage brokers. Maybe you have an in-house FS resource in your own companies. But if not, get out there and meet more of them. These are people that are reliant and they know what a referral network looks like because they spend their life going from one BNI meeting to the other. That is the lifeblood of their businesses. They need referrals. Very often, mortgage brokers and financial advisors don't have a shop. They don't have boards that they put up. They don't have countless loads of social media ads. They're very poor at that. They rely on referrals that come to them through local networks. So they will always be the first person that comes up and talks to you at any kind of networking event. Take advantage of that. They will want your business as much as you want theirs. And there are always people that they can refer to you. They are dealing with people that are moving at the end of the day. If they're in the mortgage business, they're always going to be dealing with somebody that owns a property, landlords, sellers, buyers. It's a great place to be. So definitely make yourself useful, make yourself available to them. Um, Schools. So this slide says school admissions officers. If you can find somebody that works in the school admissions department, good luck to you. But I think a really rich theme is not necessarily people that work in the offices of the school, but it's people that volunteer on the PTA. They are PTAs, so parents, teachers associations, all of that sort of stuff. They are very badly funded. They always need local agents or local people to support the causes. They'll have a raffle, they'll have a fair, they'll have some sort of event that they're putting on. And it's great sponsorship opportunities for a local business. They're always super grateful. Some agents run schemes whereby the PTA will put up for sale boards effectively advertising your business where they can. They will always be able to refer schools, don't forget, are the reason that people sometimes move home. So sometimes you get new families moving into a school. Very often they'll get introduced to the PTA. The people at the PTA are always run but these PTA associations are always run by the busybodies, so they get into everybody's business. Have you found a house yet? Where are you going to be moving to? What are you looking at buying? What are you looking at selling? Are you moving out of the area? These are great people to know, and they're always super grateful for your support. And they're a really good, what my kids would call low-key source of referrals because it doesn't come thick and fast, and it won't be the first thing that they think about. But they definitely are talking to young families, and young families are always growing. They need more space. They need to sell what they're is too small for them and they need to go and buy something bigger. There are conversations there, there are opportunities there. Definitely take advantage of it. Care home managers. So not necessarily just the people that work at care homes, but anybody that deals with elder care. You need sometimes somebody that's friendly at housing associations, people that deal with sheltered accommodation, to remember who you are so that they can give you a call. So very often, if somebody's looking at moving mum or dad to sheltered accommodation or to a care home, it's a huge move, and people do not go willingly. They need a bit of convincing to move. And the first step is, well, let's go and have a look at what they've got available, and then see if you like it. And everybody goes, and the first time that they go, oh, I don't like it. But they slowly get used to the idea of downsizing, of moving somewhere else. Those care home managers, those people that work in the housing associations, very often are the first people that will pick up that inquiry and know about a potential move. And they're really well placed to sort of say, look, if you're moving and you are selling mum or dad's house, David's the right sort of person to speak to and help you with that move. So get yourself in a position where at least you know these people, they're aware that you exist, so that when somebody does say, "Ooh, do you know of anyone that can help us with this?" They're not left scratching around. Make yourself referable. And that's something that we're going to have a look at. You don't have to ask for referrals at the beginning of every meeting. The best referral networks that you build locally, with local businesses, with people that you can trust. They need to be reciprocal, but givers gain. If you can give first, people feel as human beings that they owe you something in return. It may be unspoken, but give with an open heart and you will get it back. So your network is great, and locally you need to keep building on it. You cannot rely that everybody's always going to think of you. So get out there and go and speak to those local businesses. Handling objections to referrals. So you will get objections to referrals all the time. So, some people will say, well, they're my client. I don't want to pass them to somebody else. I don't, I can't guarantee that someone else's service is as good as mine. I think with the with the relocation agent network, I think what we know is, and I know this from meeting so many of you at regionals, but when you all get together also at the RAN conference, you get to meet each other. You also know that you're dealing with high caliber businesses that do look an awful lot like your own. And actually, you should be able to refer with confidence as well. So managing referrals as well also takes time. There's always a little bit of in-house objection to that. We'll talk about a RAN champion and what that might do for your business very soon. But you can overcome those obstacles. This should be part and parcel of the opportunities that we should be revealing every day anyway. And what happens if another agent doesn't look after them? So we do vet the agents, and you can speak to us as well. So if somebody is falling short of the high standards that we hold, we would intervene. So if you ever make a referral and you feel that you're not getting or your clients are not being looked after in the right way, you can either pick up the phone to the agent that you referred to, because you do have the ability to talk to them direct. They are your colleagues within the network, but you can also speak to us here at RAN, and we will also speak. I've got to say, it doesn't happen very often at all. In fact, I can't even remember of a single instance over the last 12 months where that has had to happen. But if it does, please be reassured that we're here to look after it. And some people think that their clients won't want to be passed on, but I've got to tell you something. Mostly, if you frame it as a service and you frame it as something that is going to help them, the context of that referral makes a big effect, has a big effect on the outcome. So the objection is usually about trust and it's usually about standards, but if you can build that trust, and referrals become much more easy. There are scripts and dialogues that we can talk about perfect referral handoff. I'm not going to get too bogged down with those today, but I think you need to sort of keep a track of those referrals. We have the V5 platform that you can upload everything to, and that will do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of keeping track and allowing us to see what's been uploaded as well. But you should always keep a track of these sort of things, and the key metrics that you're going to be measuring are the number of referrals that you have sent, also the number of referrals that you're receiving. If you're not sending a great deal of referrals or you're not getting a lot back, we need to look at the reason why that's not happening. Are we not having those conversations? Are we not recommending? Are we being shy for whatever reason? Do people not know about the area that we work in and why it's beautiful and you'd want to relocate here? Do they not know about the fantastic jobs in my local area? Do they not know about? So I think there's a real opportunity here that if you're not getting a good deal of referrals, they're not coming naturally and they're not coming through the network, then let's not wait till that for that to become a conversation next time you renew your contract. Let's jump on that today. Let's look at the reasons why, because people are moving every day and people are moving in and out of your area every day. Why should you be special in terms of missing out on referral opportunities? So it's usually about the process and about what we're doing rather than something wrong with your area that nobody wants to move to. That's utter nonsense. And I think sometimes by sharing and talking about the beautiful things that are happening in your area and the advantages, we start to make other members of the network also aware of this, and naturally they can be more helpful. Conversion rates also matter as well. So if you've got sort of actually round conversion rates are usually higher than 60%, but when you're making those referrals, they very often do convert to full valuations and then full instructions, and then obviously the end result is sales that you see. But you're also going to be recording your referral income, not just from the RAN network, but you should be looking at globally. It should not just be just a bonus, it should be something that you're tracking and something that you can in time come to factor into your business plans, and perhaps on a monthly or at least quarterly basis. You'll be able to look at it, and that whole old adage of what gets measured gets managed. Well, you're able to sort of review these results and then take action appropriately if you're not getting the results that you need. Making yourself referable is one of the biggest parts of all of this. So we want you to become the agent that everyone refers to. And when you build a personal brand or even a business brand, it's not just about marketing, it's about consistently sort of embodying the qualities that make you inherently referable, likable, trustable. And so, you need to sort of cultivate that, you need to nurture it. That your reputation will be one for excellence, reliability, that you genuinely care. You can demonstrate that you genuinely care just by having better conversations with people. And referrals, therefore, then stop becoming something that is a pursuit or a burden. They just become a natural byproduct of your work and they'll happen without you even noticing it. So this card here sort of outlines those traits, but what makes you referable? Responsiveness, so you're prompt and reliable communicators. If you get a referral, best practice, make contact with the person that is being referred to you so that they know that you're picking it up and you're helping them. And then pick up the phone and say thank you to the person that sent you the referral. Dead simple. But then they know that you're looking after it. But more importantly, that gratitude goes a long way, and it's a lovely call to get. We all get such shitty calls from time to time in a state agency. It's genuinely lovely when another colleague picks up the phone and goes, "Hey, just want to let you know, we've spoken to Sarah today. We're going to be helping with the move. We're so grateful for that." And that can really just change your mood instantly. Expertise. So we want you to have deep market knowledge. We've spoken about the reasons why sometimes relocation moves need a greater care, a level of detail. They really need to be local experts. So that's really key. Follow through. We sometimes get referrals, we'll deal with them, we get busy with something else. This needs to be a process that we're joining up. All our inquiries need to be processes that we're constantly following up on, but we need to have a joined up process that will allow you to feed back what's happened to it. Is it live? Is it pending? Are we able to help this person? Are they just waiting and seeing? What are we doing to it? It can make a difference to the way that you deal with all your referrals, and we could talk about that on a separate occasion. Warmth. You need to be approachable. We talk about trust being the key thing that we're selling here as estate agents. Well, in order for people to trust you, they need to like you and they need to know you. So knowing you, well, they'll get to know you, but when they get to know you, they need to like you. And that can only be done if you're approachable, empathetic, and clearly client focused. People need to know that you're going to give them a great level of customer service. Specialist knowledge. So if you know your every area is different. We have, certainly if you came to this part of Manchester, I could tell you about all the sort of different sides of town and different areas you might want to live in according to what's important to you. Every area has them. Every area has a set of houses that have been built by a certain builder that you'll know all about. You'll know about the pitfalls of certain properties, why certain things rent for more than other properties, why certain properties on one side of the street are double the price of the other side of the street. You'll know all those nuances, and that makes you that specialist knowledge in your area makes you absolutely invaluable, makes you highly, highly referable. And how to demonstrate it? Well, we'd say reply to all your queries really quickly, at least within an hour. But honestly, the speed makes a massive difference when it comes to conversion. We're living in a world where things happen at the click of a button and instantly. We can go on Amazon right now and I can order something that I need right now. I'll get confirmation of it in the next 3 minutes. I'll know it's being dispatched within the next 5 minutes, and I'll know that it'll be at my door by 6 p.m. tomorrow. And that's the kind of world that we're living in. And unfortunately, that has set massive customer service expectations in other industries such as property as well. So responding to those inquiries really quickly is key. Sharing relevant market analysis and local insights proactively is a really good way to demonstrate that you know your area and your marketplace. It gives you content that you can engage with people online with. It's great marketing, it's great brand awareness. Why wouldn't you want to demonstrate your local knowledge? It's absolutely superb. Provide regular, clear updates and just meet all the deadlines. So keep connected with the people that are referring business to you, that you've referred business to them. Keep it going. Relationships only survive as long as the last connection. So you cannot expect people to refer to you all the time unless you keep those channels of communication going. And the better that kind of feedback is, amongst network members, the better the quality of referrals and the frequency of, because I'm always thinking of you if you're always in touch with me and vice versa. I'm always looking at ways that we can refer to one another, and if we like each other, that's going to be great as well. So listen actively, show genuine care, and build rapport. It's also one of the ways that you demonstrate empathy with people, and become that authority in a specific area. If you deal with specific property types or specific moves, I know there are some agents that deal with, say, park homes, or they'll deal with elder care, where they're just dealing with people at the later stages of their lives. Then shout about it, talk about it, make sure that we all in the network all know what it is that you do. So we're looking at your expertise, your reliability, and also your generosity. Give those referrals freely and share as much value as you can. That sort of giving before you get back is a key element to all referral networks. So your reputation at the end of the day is your referral engine, and all your reputations are built on these factors here. Um, the V5 platform is your referral command center, so you can log everything in the V5 platform. It helps us to track what you've got coming in and out. It will not deal with the human side of it. So if you want to pick up the phone to the person that you're referring to, and get to know them, I think it's a great way to get to know your local RAM members or the people on the other side of the country that you're referring to, build those relationships. It won't do all of that for you, but it will do the nitty-gritty of allowing us to sort of track the referrals, the monetary side of it, see what's live and see what's dead. But the platform is only as good as the data that you input in it. And I would say the same of any CRM or any inquiry management system. It's what if you put rubbish in, you get rubbish out. But if you put more information, more quality, more notes in there, everybody gets to benefit. So really do, but don't use that as an excuse not to communicate with people. Always pick up the phone. It's always nice to know who we're dealing with. Um, Real scenarios, we talked about those earlier, so I'm not going to get bogged down with them. But we can talk about scenarios that are time sensitive, that perhaps are first time buyers or people that are downsizing. But I think the message we want you to get is that these are not exceptional cases. You go and look at the last 10 house moves that you've helped with. Each of them has a story. Nobody is just moving on. Yeah, I just woke up this morning and decided I'm moving. Everyone has a story, and there's usually a reason for it. It'll involve a relationship, it'll involve a new relationship, it might involve new beginnings, a new job, somebody's had a kid or whatever it is. But this is what dictates the moves that we make. And like I said, the younger generation have a lot more flexibility now on where they're willing to move to. So really keep having those conversations, but they happen every single day. And if you ask better questions, you are going to spot more opportunities. So when you are spotting these opportunities, high performing networks, they have clear standards, they're tracking those referrals, and it means that we're not leaking any opportunities here. 78% of home buyers work with a first agent who replies to them. Would you believe? So responding in 5 minutes makes you 21 times more likely to convert business. I think the message here is, look, don't put yourself under massive pressure, but we have so many tools at our disposal to help us manage inquiries these days. Lead management systems exist for a reason, and the reason is that the statistics back it, that you have a much better chance of converting if we are communicating really quickly with people. So that conversion sort of unlocks everything. As conversations do. Always ask about the why in a move. Why are you moving? What does the ideal outcome look like? Where do you see yourselves in 12 months' time? Identify hidden relocations. Relocation moves aren't the first. Nobody picks up the phone and goes, well, it's relocation. They will say, look, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, or I am moving from here. they won't necessarily tell you the whole story. So it's a bit of a almost like a murder mystery. You need to sort of pull on these threads and connect all the dots. But it starts by asking questions. And you need to frame everything that you do in the context of relocation as a service that you offer. It is a massive value add, and it sets you apart from all of your other competitors. They could be a member of whatever network that they want, but relocation, it does what it says on the tin. Everybody knows what relocation means. And if you're a relocation expert, how many agents are able to say that? We're able to endorse you for that, and it's worth definitely promoting to your public. Okay, we're going to just have a look at a little bit further into this in terms of sending and receiving referrals properly. There is a little bit of groundwork that needs to be set. So sending a bad referral, it does sort of it can be damaging. It can sort of put people off dealing with you. It really does affect the quality and whether or not you're going to be able to convert on it as well. So our referral sending checklist is very, very simple. Verify and obtain consent. So if you are going to sort of refer somebody to me and I'm outside of the area, just, confirm that with the client and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to refer you to them so that nobody is being referred and then they get a phone call from me and go, I didn't give any permission for somebody to pass my details on. Let's be mindful of the duties that we have and the responsibilities that we have with client data, and we need to make sure that we're very clearly managing those expectations as well. Get full information, so the name, contact details, timelines. Make notes if you know their budgets, if you know if they've got a particular special need when you're making the referral. Look at it as if you're booking an appointment in your own office. If you were booking a valuation for somebody in your own office, you'd want as much information as possible so that when we turn up at the property, we know what the edge is. We know if they've got any special needs. We know what's motivating the move. If you get any of that information over the phone when you're dealing with a relocation referral, get it, pass it on, give it to the next person. It's absolute gold and it will enhance their ability to convert it. A warm handoff is really important as well. So you can arrange introductions with people. At the end of the day, yes, your V5 platform will hand things over. But if you wanted to drop an email to me and copy in the client at the same time, say I'm referring you to David, this is David's details. Look forward to hearing how this all ends up. It makes them feel like they've got a wraparound service, that they're being dealt with properly. Referrals outside of RAN, make sure that you've got written agreements with the people that you're referring to. You also have legal duties to disclose when it is that you're getting paid referral fees as well. So, be mindful of that. Make sure they're properly documented. We do tend to work sometimes when we're networking all on a handshake basis, but don't leave yourselves open to that kind of disappointment further on down the line when those things don't work out and you don't get paid, or there isn't what you expected at the end of the transaction because you haven't made that clear in the first place. And if you haven't got a written agreement, then just maybe an email or a letter at the beginning. Even that is better than nothing. Don't leave it to chance. We work in a world where, unfortunately, a handshake is not necessarily what we can take to the bank and cash. So acting quickly, again, we've spoken about speed, but hot referrals cool really fast. So I might be interested in making phone calls today about a relocation move. Tomorrow I might get busy with something else and I decide to put my retirement dream on hold for another few weeks or whatever it may be. Strike whilst the iron is hot. So respond immediately, acknowledge your referring agent all the time, and qualify and really sort of treat the buyers that they send you as a VIP. They're gonna feel special, but it's also gonna enhance the quality of referrals that we make within the network. This isn't just oh yeah, I don't deal with that area. I'm passing them off to David. He may make something of it, he might not. This is a service. We're all part of this network to provide these services. And always make sure that you're updating the V5 platform so that we can track it, that you get recognition for what you're doing, but more importantly, your income is also tracked as well. So, in terms of tools to make your life easier when making these referrals and also keeping on top of the inquiries coming in. So, there's one on the one hand, yes, if you're dealing with it yourself, you're going to have a conversation with somebody. You can ask really great questions. But what happens when you're not there? What happens when it comes in at night and you're at home? Because you are allowed some time off as an estate agent. No one expects you to be working 24/7. So what happens in those scenarios? So what should happen in those scenarios is that you're supported by excellent lead management systems and inquiries management systems. And at RAN, we give you those pretty much straight out of the box. So a lot of you will already be working with our partners on this. And we have SalesRook and we have Homeflow. Both do similar things, but in a slightly different ways. SalesRook will work mostly on WhatsApp messages. So a right move inquiry comes in at night, your out of hours service, if you like, kicks in straight away. They get a WhatsApp message that says, "Hey David, thank you for inquiring about number one Evergreen Terrace. Just wanted to check, where is it that you're moving to?" Well, actually, yes, I'm moving to Wales. I noticed, well, that's out of our patch. We're going to refer you to Sophie in Wales, if that's all right. So it basically deals and it identifies with your out of area moves. It asks the questions that we sometimes get a little bit lazy with, but certainly when the inquiry comes in at 8 o'clock at night, this is a great and efficient way to get people to engage with it. It will ask things like their status, in terms of financial status as well, whether they need mortgages. So it's going to be doing a lot of the qualifying for us. But in terms of identifying out of area leads as well, it's going to be invaluable. So that's a really good tool. Homeflow does it as well with all the inquiries that come through. They've got a fantastic lead management system. Again, works in a slightly different way, but it does the same thing. It refines, it hones the inquiries that you've got coming in. It crucially, both of these systems make the person that is raising the inquiry feel like they're being dealt with pretty much instantly. That we are coming back to them. We're acknowledging the fact that they're inquired about a service or a property. They're getting asked questions. We're going to qualify them. We're going to be able to refer them more easily. And so these are some of the tools that are at your disposal. And obviously that sits on top of the V5 platform in terms of updating the inquiries coming in and out. But it is frustrating when you make a referral and you don't hear back. So we always encourage people to close the loop. That communication circle is really, really important. Call the person, let them know what happened. Send them an email. Say, yeah, hi David, thank you very much for the referral that you sent through. Unfortunately, we weren't able to help Sarah because X, Y, and Z, but this is what we were able to do. Let them know when you've made first contact, when you've gone around and valued it. Sometimes actually, if I've gone around to value something, it's an out of area lead for you, but I've gone out to value it on my patch, but they've inquired about a property with you on in your side of town. You could actually sort of help me to win that instruction by saying, "Oh, I believe you've had David out. How did that go?" And you can give them a bit of encouragement and vice versa. So we can all help to support each other. You should see the Relocation Agent Network as an extension of what happens in your own office. And this really gives you that national reach that we all look for. Right, let's move on. 7 day referral reset. This is a bit of a challenge, really. These are things that you can do in order to just sort of get the referrals flowing again within your business, both locally and also across the network. So this is something that I want you to try and push yourselves to do. Again, I'm going to be sending you a copy of the book. It's got a lot more information in there. There's a lot more tips in there, a lot more value. Please do take the time to read it. There's some pretty decent stuff in there. So day one, just a sample of what you could do. Audit your last 20 leads and just have a look at the stuff that you've already dealt with and flag any where a relocation signal might have been present but not acted on. So maybe we did pick up on the fact that yes, somebody was moving because work is moving, but we didn't really ask the questions. Don't worry about that. We all make mistakes. We're all busy. But there's no reason why you can't go through your archive, if you like, of the last conversations that you've had. Those people will still be there. Some of them might still be moving. We might be able to help them. They'll find it helpful. It might also add to your bottom line in terms of referrals. Day two, just make 3 calls. Ask a deeper question about the move. If you've been on the Power of Three course, you'll know about the sort of calls that I'm asking you to make. But really listen for the why in every move. We need to know what the story is behind every move. It will help you to unlock hidden opportunity. Reach out to 2 local partners. So, speak to a solicitor, a broker, care managers, housing associations are a great example. Pick up the phone, just let them know what you do, make yourself useful to them. Don't necessarily expect anything back from them on the first day. You're going to be proactive here. You're going to be somebody that doesn't normally contact them. They don't get estate agents calling them every day. You're going to be doing something that everybody else doesn't do. So just be mindful of that when you call them. They're going to think at first that this is strange, but they're going to get to know you. They're going to get to know that actually it's really useful to know who you are and what's the worst that can happen, that they retain your details. Later on down the line, you get a phone call from somebody who says, actually, yeah, we've got something for you here. So just think about the long term. Day four, log into V5 platform, make sure that you're familiar with it, refer anything that you've got open, send a referral to a trusted partner, do it. Yeah, get out there, start referring some business to each other. Day five, review your reciprocity ratio. So that's the ratio of referrals that you're making and the referrals that you're getting back. If we're not getting referrals, or if there's somebody that we're not referring to that we could do, identify that person that we would like to do more business with, and perhaps look at ways that we could do that. So I think if we think about it, we can always find opportunities for people. Day six, close the loop. So send an update to anybody that has referred you to a client in the last 3 months. Thank them. Gratitude goes a long way. People like being thanked, they like being acknowledged. And a small thank you doesn't cost anything, but it goes a long way and could earn you a lot of money in the long run. Day seven, set a monthly referral goal. So, if we set targets within offices, very often we find that people have a way of reaching them. So, if you have no goal in mind, then nothing is going to happen. But if you can say, I want to make sure that we're referring at least 3 properties in every week or every month, it doesn't matter what your metric is. It's up to you to decide how much you're going to get out of your Relocation Agent Network membership. You can set your targets really high if you want, but it needs to be a goal that you feel that your teams can act towards. I'm always a firm believer that we can do more than we're doing. Nobody is perfect. We can definitely look at the ways of boosting that income. So set yourself a target, make it a monthly discipline. That really separates you from other people. It's really important. Now, RAN champions were not specifically referred to here, but I'm going to give you a quick note on that. In the book, there is a section on RAN champions. Now, you'll know if you've turned up at any RAN local regional meetings, but certainly if you've been to our end of year bash, if you go to the RAN conference, you'll see that we actually give awards to RAN champions. But one of the best ways that you can boost referrals and boost that referral culture within your business is by appointing a RAN champion within your own office. So that is one person that takes responsibility for the Relocation Agent Network. They oversee it. That doesn't mean they're the only person that deals with the inquiries. They don't even need to be the most senior person. They just need to be somebody that cares passionately about what they do, and I hope all your staff are that way. But also they are meticulous as well in terms of following up, consistency, and they're the type of people that can really sort of take stewardship, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, over RAN inquiries. So for argument's sake, they make sure that the valuers are regularly mentioning RAN in their pitches when they go out and visit people. That we're making sure that the people that are answering the phones and logging inquiries are asking and looking out for relocation signals. They are keeping a track of all the referrals we're making. They are making that communication with the people that are referring business to us. And if you're referring business locally outside of RAN, this is also really great practice. Make it a KPI that is worth banking on. Make it a goal that is worth setting, and make it a position that is worth having somebody responsible for it. So a RAN champion can go a long way. There are some great examples of RAN champions within the network, but when you see the care that they take over it and the fact that they're constantly finding ways to make sure that their team is on top of referring relocation moves, it makes a massive difference to the bottom line over the year, the amount of referral income that is generated within the network, but ultimately for your businesses as well. And if you're incentivizing your staff in the right way as well, then it makes sense that it impacts on everybody's bottom line and everybody feels it in their pocket. Referring business to like-minded people, professionals that you can trust, makes sense. There is no two ways about it. You've opted to become a member, and you've been selected to become a member of a network that absolutely prides itself on that. So we want you to make the most of every referral opportunity that comes through. If you need any help at all, if you find that your reciprocity ratios are not great, then talk to us about it. If you are receiving a lot of one kind of inquiry that you can't convert, talk to us about it. If you feel like you should be receiving more, or that you'd like to get to know more about the different agents in locations that you think people might be retiring to or moving to because of lifestyle changes, talk to us about it. Our team can add a lot of value. We're always here to help. Thank you for listening. As ever, I'm around for questions. Drop me a line. Take care. We'll see you soon.